Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is a very exciting day. I am going to be drawing, and I'm going to be drawing the map to the whole entire game, Hollow Knight. Now, Hollow Knight is a huge game. There are a lot of areas, there's a lot of boss fights, there's a lot of dream places, it's just full of details and it's huge. So this is going to be a really big project, like a huge project. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. Well, not today, but this is just going to be part one of a really long series. But I'm excited. I'm thinking this will be fun. I've been a fan of the game Hollow Knight for a really long time now, but until recently I haven't actually played it, and when I played it like a month ago, I really loved it. It was just such a beautiful game. It was so much fun. It was difficult, but I loved it. It was just so beautiful, and the whole entire time I was playing it, all I can think of was like, I want this as like a physical thing I can hold because it's just so beautiful. So I was just thinking like, okay, I'm going to draw it, like, and then I'll have a physical copy and it's going to be unique because it's partially my own creation, you know? So that's where the idea came from. And I decided on Dirtmouth as my starting location for this because Dirtmouth is kind of more simple. It's not a huge area or anything. It's pretty small. It's pretty simple. It's like, it's cute, you know. There's a lot of like empty sky spaces and everything. So I thought it would be a pretty easy area. I could have started in King's Pass, but honestly, it didn't appeal to me. So I thought Dirtmouth would be the way to go. So yeah, that is today's video. I already did some things to prepare. I went on YouTube and I took screenshots of the game, you know, people going through Dirtmouth, this and that. I prepped all my supplies, I did everything, so hopefully this will be fun, and I guess I should just get into it. So I started off day one with high spirits and lots of hope. And basically, I made the conscious decision to start on one end of the valley and work my way to the other end, even though I really just wanted to like start off and jump around a bunch, but I thought, you know, it would be best to be wise and start in one spot and work my way. So I started with the King's Pass door because why not? That's always a good reason, right? But anyways, I did a really rough sketch first and then I just went in with color because the pen I used is not waterproof, so I had to add the colors before I could add the pen, and I just added a light wash of like this bluish black color because I try to match the picture obviously as best as I could, and I just did a quick wash here and just built up the layers in the background and the foreground just to build up the color and make everything pop a bit better. And then the line art was pretty simple. I took lots of care to make it as accurate to the picture as possible, like all the rocks to look exactly the same shapes, like literally everything. So yeah, that was a lot of work. This took a whole day. I was pretty slow because I was really concentrating on making this nice. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how good that railing looks? Like, it looks so good and the details are so nice. And after I did just some shading with some pencils and just adding contrast and stuff, this was done. Woohoo! 1 page down, 30 more to go. And this literally took a whole day to do 1 page. Like, this was just day one and I did 1 single page. So I had a lot of work to do. So day 2, I tried to pick up the pace a little bit, and this is when I ran into some issues because I don't know if you noticed this, but when you're playing the game, things don't stay in the same spot. Like, you walk a little bit and then things in the foreground move, things in the background move, like it's just a mess. So I started realizing with like the second like part of this wall here that I was like, oh shoot, the background is like completely different. Like, what the heck? Like, basically I see the same exact thing from at the top of the like hill, and at the bottom of the hill is the same exact background. So I was like kind of screwed there. And I was worried, but I ended up just extending the like rocks in the background all the way to the ground. They look a little bit weird, but I think I kind of salvaged it, you know, made it okay. And once I got all of that figured out, I just started coloring it. And for me, the coloring was actually a little bit tricky. Not the coloring itself, but I kept wanting to like add different colors for some reason. Like everything was the exact same color, but that's how it is in game. But I felt like it wasn't contrasting enough. So I kept wanting to like, oh, just change the shade of blue a little bit, you know, do something different, but I really tried to restrain myself. And then I just finished adding the colors and I did some light shading and it was done. The thin strip in the middle, I didn't do a full page there because this side has to be shorter than the Crystal Peak entrance. Now on day 3, I decided to completely throw out my plan that I had originally, and I skipped all the way to the other side of the Dirtmouth and I did Confessor Gidi. I swear for the longest time I thought it was Professor Gigi. I don't know why, but I swear when I played the game, every time I seen it, I thought it was Professor Gigi. But I guess it's Confessor Gigi, but anyways. For this page here, I kind of really struggled with the pen bleeding. As you can see in the little vines and stuff that hang from the ceiling, when I added the color around them, they kind of bled out a lot, so that was a little frustrating. But, you know, I just moved on to drawing Confessor Gigi, and I really love Confessor Gigi. She's so cute. Her like little noises. That probably sounded really bad, but anyways, let's move on. Let's talk about candles, cause candles are nice, right? I enjoyed drawing these candles. They were really fun, and you'll see what I end up doing for the flames later, which is really cool. I got started on actually coloring Confessor Gigi. I didn't want to, like I said before with the waterproof pen, I added the colors before because I didn't want the pen to smear, especially on a bug because it's like a character. So yeah, I just added in the colors. They were pretty pale. I had to go over a couple times, but then once that was done, I did the line art and it was pretty easy and cute and it was done. I'm really happy with how this page turned out, like actually. Like it was just so much fun. And for the candle flames, I just used a whiteout pen and this was great because it went over every paint, everything, and it created like a bright white like flame, so that was really nice. So at this point it was starting to get kind of late, but I really wanted to do the outside of Gigi's hut. I kind of regret doing this now, like I should have waited till I reached that part, but I just got really excited and I wanted to do it. The outside of the like cave, I guess, looked pretty good. It turned out nice, but then with the background, I don't know what happened, like the colors just didn't work. I don't know, I just couldn't match the colors to the other side very well. And also, I don't know why I outlined the rocks in the background like that. Like, they don't look too great. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, but I did it anyways. And I go back later when I end up finishing this side. I do go back in and I fix all the lines and everything. And that's the reason I should have waited, because it would have been so much easier later on just to have everything, like, line up nicely overall and whatnot. But overall, I was pretty happy with it, and it was nice to see how it would like flow with like the inside of the cave and the outside and all of that. So I'm still happy I did it, but I kind of wish I would have waited till later. But yeah. Now on day 4, I started working on the main part of the valley, and I decided to work on a larger section at a time because I found it much easier because I can jump around and everything. But basically, this part is from the wall where you fall down all the way to Grimm's tent. And at this point I was starting to notice that it was becoming quite big, this project, because it was already 6 pages like wide overall, and I wasn't even halfway through. So as you can see, I got started on the page where the bridge falls down, and I really like this page. I really like how that broken bridge piece looks. I think it looks really cool. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. If you notice, I don't add backgrounds to any of them because I'm going to add the background like later once this whole half is done. And since I was pretty much done with this page for now, I moved on to Grimm's tent. Now, I decided to add Grimm's tent for multiple reasons. One, it just added a nice extra pop of color. And 2, like, I just wanted it to be there because if it's not there, then it's not in the map like at all. And I thought, why not add it, you know? And I really enjoyed this part of the map, like drawing the Grim Steed and the Grim Troop. Like I really enjoyed it. And there's something about the bugs. Like I'm drawing the Grim Steed now, and oh my gosh, they're just so cute. Like there's something about the bugs that are so adorable, and the fact that I drew them like nicely and they look like good, it just makes me so happy. So but I guess now is a good time to talk about what I'm gonna do for like inside places, because I do want to eventually do like the inside of all the stores, inside all the buildings, the tent, like everything like that. I'm gonna end up doing at one point, but right now it wouldn't fit like in with this whole thing, because like where would I put it? Like there's pages all around the tent, right? Or the stores. Like there's nowhere to like put the inside of the stores where it would show. So I didn't think it would be too much of like a necessity to do them right now, but I will do them later, and then they will just be their own little like thing, I guess. And again, I was pretty much done with all of these pages because I was gonna do the background later, so I could only do like the main parts. And now is the exciting part. I am doing the background for this half of the valley because like near the middle there's no hills in the background, whatever. But basically I had to come up with this on my own because, you know, the original hills, I did them all on that one page. So that, yeah, I just had to come up with my own design for this. So it's not really accurate to the game, but I did what I had to make it work. So I just drew a bunch of random like hills. I try to make them look good, you know, like they would actually belong there instead of just me, you know, just coming up with things. So that's what I did. So for these rocks, there were a couple patterns that I noticed kept repeating, so I made sure to incorporate those here and there. Like there was this like sun kind of pattern, there was this like wavy like weird one, and then there was just like the stripes across the rock, and I incorporated different elements and tried to make it look good. It ended up working pretty well, and then once I finished with the backgrounds, I could go back in on those layers and add some details that I couldn't before, like the railing to the broken part of the bridge, and then that lamppost next to Grimm's tent, and just things like that. I could go in and finally add those last details. And also I came up with a really great idea for this lamppost and like other little details. I have this whiteout pen, which quite frankly doesn't work too well. It always like explodes, but I managed to make it work. And since I was basically halfway done, I decided to give myself a little break. So I took about a week off, and then I came back to finish the rest. And as you can see here, as I'm wonderfully showing, this is pretty long. It's, I think, 11 pages across, including Confessor Gidi, I believe. But yeah, this is pretty long. So this is like what, day 6, 7, but like a week later, and I just got started on actual Dirtmouth. Basically, I planned out everything, like how many pages I would need to complete the rest of it, and I did very rough sketches of what would be on each page, all the way down to the end, because I decided to work on the rest of this basically kind of like all at once, but not really. I did Dirtmouth kind of all at once, and then I did the other side at once. One thing I will say is that I know I made Dirtmouth slightly too long, like it's not crazy, but that space between Gravedigger and Confessor Gigi's hut, like I could have cut out that space and like moved them closer together, but then I didn't want to have like half pages and like quarter pages and who knows what, so I just decided to add a whole page there. So it's a little bit too long in that area. So finally I moved on to the actual Dirtmouth, and I was really excited to get started because, you know, this is the main part. And I just covered everything in a light wash of this like gray, and then I went in and did the tiles on the floor, and that was really fun. I had to make sure to line up the tiles across both pages, which was a little bit, it wasn't tricky, but I don't know, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, I just added a lot of details, some signs for Grimm's troop, you know, advertisement, I guess, right? And then I just sketched out a lot of the details in the background, and I started coloring everything in. I really love how like dark everything is. I think this really helped like my personal art style a bit, like doing this project, because I like never go dark enough with anything. When I draw, like it always turns out way, way, way too light. So I think this really helped because there's so many like deep shadows, like just pitch black. So I think that really helped me. But yeah, this was really fun. And I'm doing Sly Shop and then the Stag Station. The Stag Station was kind of weird. Like, it's a weird shape. And then the very edge of it went onto the other page, so that was kind of annoying. And I really like the look of these buildings. Like, they look so cool. Like, this art style I really, really like. Which, I guess this isn't even that, like, similar to the original art style. I guess it's my own art style. But I tried copying. I don't know. I really like how these look. Like, they just have a nice vibe. Good, like, atmosphere. I don't know. I just really like it. And I'm coloring in all the signs red because, you know, they're for the Grim troops. So, of course, they're red. And for those signs, there's some, like, weird things that happen later on. But, yeah. Doing the details on everything. And I forgot, because I inked the background first, I forgot to, like, leave an empty space for this lamppost and elderbug, which upset me so much. But for the lamppost, I just went over it, and I used my bleeding pen technique to, like, just add water, and it would bleed my pen, and it would kind of be a very dark color, and it could, like, kind of hide the lines through it. So that kind of worked, and then I realized that I forgot the room for elderbug, so I drew him out, and oh my gosh, he's so freaking cute. Like, I love this. Like, look at him. Like, I colored him in. Like, this looks so cute. Like, I was so happy with this. And I just basically cut him out with my knife and everything, and then I glued him on because I didn't want any, like, disturbing lines through him, you know, from the background. And I actually really like how that, like, effect it made him look slightly 3D. Because he, like, popped a slight bit. It wasn't crazy anything, but I kind of liked it. And then I went in with my whiteout pen again, and I went in for the lamppost, and then for the signs. And now for the signs, this didn't work too well. It was too fat of a nib, and then it just, like, bled everywhere, and I couldn't get a lot of details, and it was really frustrating. So once I did that, I went over with pen to outline the shapes to kind of, like, bring it more in. Which isn't how they are in-game, but, you know, I did it to make mine look better, and that's all that matters. Finally, after about another week of break, I got started on the very last section of this project, which is the Crystal Peak entrance, the Gravedigger area, the well, and, you know, that, like, whole section. And I had taken quite a long break, and I honestly was getting kind of sick of this. Not sick of it, but I was ready to be done. Like, I was excited to see the finished product, and I was a little frustrated that I still had a lot to do because it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's still a lot of pages to just fill in and color. So I got a little frustrated, and I didn't film as much as I should have. I just wanted to power through and get it done as quickly as possible, so I would have, like, a nice finished product as soon as I could. But yeah, I got started at the Crystal Peak entrance, and this was quite fun. But honestly, doing the part with the Crystal Peak stuff was kind of fun because it was a little change of color. I could add some brown and some pink, so that was nice. So I enjoyed that part a lot. And this was the point where I started realizing that I shouldn't have done the outside of Gigi's cave, because this was where it was screwing with my backgrounds. But I still try to make it work. Like, this wall was really weird, like, trying to connect the two. I did 3 pages instead of 2.5 because, you know, the site's higher a little than the King's Pass entrance, so naturally it has to be a little higher up. But yeah, like, this part was kind of not the most fun. That elevator and all the details up there were kind of a pain, but they were still fun. I'm just dreading City of Tears because it's full of that kind of stuff. So we'll see how that will go, but for now this was pretty bearable. And I'm not saying I don't love these details. Like, I really do think they look really good, and I love that it's really detailed, and I did a good job, but it was just really a pain to do. And it ended up being really worth it in the end. Like, look at this elevator. It looks so good. Like, it's so detailed and it really works. So I'm happy about that. And up next, I moved on to the ground section, and I'm starting on the page with the well, and I really enjoy doing this because I really like how this well looks. Like, I like the wrought iron details, and I just think it looks really nice, and I did a good job on it. And then I just move on to the little huts in the background and try to color them in. One thing I did realize now that I'm looking back at the footage is that everything looks very, very gray. Like, it doesn't look bluish, really. It looks all very gray. And then I'm just doing Gravedigger. Oh my gosh. Gravedigger is the cutest bug ever. Look at him. He's so cute. He's so sweet. He's adorable. But yeah, I just move on, do a lot of details in the graves and like all of that kind of thing. And after just some more details, this part was pretty much all done and I moved on. And once I finished all the main foreground details, it was time to do the backgrounds. Woohoo! And I basically had to do the same exact thing I did on the other side, which was improvise. Woohoo! Because there was really, I couldn't find much, you know, on what it looked like. I guess I could have found a video of someone crystal dashing across from Crystal Peak, but it was hard to find anything really. So I just, again, came up with it from my imagination, and I just took what I could see in the background and, you know, try to make it work the best I could. But I do think it turned out pretty good. The only thing is the colors. I don't know what happened with me. I feel like I lost my touch a little because these colors were not looking the exact same as on the other side. Like, these colors were a lot more like different. They had a lot more variety of blues, and then some things looked gray, some things looked really blue, some things looked purpley. Like, it was just a big mess. And another thing I found really tricky was that there were some rocks that went over like 4 different pages, and I found it kind of hard to like match the color across all 4 pages because I couldn't mix enough colors to do it all in one go, so I had to remix, and then I couldn't end up getting the right colors, and then it looked kind of weird, but I still did my best to fix it. But in the end, I don't think it detracted from the overall look, and I still think it looked really nice, so I was fine with it. And after that, I just went and I added a bunch of shading to all the rocks and added some last couple details here and there. And the last thing I did was, with my whiteout pen, I went and I added those lights above the well, and it was completed, finally. So here it is in all its glory, all 31 pages, weeks and weeks of work, all right here. And I just decided, you know, I have to show you guys. So I sat down and I just put it all out. And you might notice that the sky is a lot darker. I had to go over the sky area a lot, like at least 10 times with black paint just to, you know, get the color that deep. But I'm really, really happy with it. Like, look at this, it looks so good. I'm just so happy. Like, look at it. Oh my god, like, it looks great. I also decided to lay down next to it just so you can see how huge this is. So that was me doing that. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. It turned out really well, and it really made me feel good to complete such a big project and like have it actually look really good and make it work. The only thing I would say I regret is that at the top, like, the pages aren't even because on the left side I cut the page in half basically, so it's a little bit lower, but you know, that's just how it is. I can't really do much if I want it to be accurate, so there it is. And yeah, I'm just so happy. Like, all the details turned out almost exactly how I wished they would. The colors are nice, the details are nice, and I'm just really proud of myself because I always tend to give up on things, so I'm happy I pushed through and I had something I really like. Finally, I finished. It has been a month, but yeah, it's finally done. I'm really, really happy. It's all right here. It looks so good. I'm so proud. I did not expect this to be this huge. I did not expect this to be this difficult. It's not really difficult, but it just took a long time, like a solid month. Yeah, but I'm really, really happy with it. It looks really good. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'll do Forgotten Crossroads next. I want to do an area that branches off But honestly, I'm kind of sick of drawing blue, so maybe it'll be Crystal Peak. But, you know, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear. And let me know what other videos you'd like to see, anything like that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!